up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect Podcast Show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys listening to episode 561. I told you guys when I came back into the studio that I was going to have some of the funniest and best guests out here, and you guys are really loving me being here. Shout out to All Things Comedy. Shout out to Andrew Themeles. Shout out to Mike Albanese here. And today I have another great episode, great guest, funny young comic who impressed me so much when I was on Luis Gomez's show, and I heard this kid's impressions. He's also part of the Young Guns podcast. Mike Figs is here. And I didn't know that you kind of grew up in the same place that I grew up. Well, I was born in Yonkers. You're a Bronx kid.
Yeah. So I was like Carpenter Avenue, like McLean Avenue was. I was Woodlawn, so I was basically Woodlawn. So right across the street were the Irish, and I was with the Puerto Ricans and the Italians.
Okay, now you are Italian?
I'm a mudblood. I'm half and half.
You're half Puerto Rican.
Half Italian, half Puerto Rican. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was raised. I identify as Italian.
Okay.
But I use the Puerto Rican card when I need it. You know. Like if I,
it helps. It helps when you're just like, wait, what situation am I going into? All right, you go heavy on. I got to get into college.
Yeah, Biden took care of the loans for me, because of my last name. Take it there, Joe.
So who's Italian? Is it your father?
My mother's Italian. Yeah.
Okay, your father's Puerto Rican.
My father's Puerto Rican, but he was called New Yorican because he was born in New York. He was raised a little bit in Puerto Rico, so he's like a fake Puerto Rican. Like sometimes he would fry bananas in front of me, but once in a while. So I was mainly raised Italian. My father, he was like a 70s Puerto Rican. He liked Bruce Lee. I don't speak Spanish.
It's a 70s Puerto Rican.
I'm a traitor,
He
Paul.
liked Bruce Lee. He liked Clint Eastwood.
He loved Clint Eastwood.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I didn't know my dad was Puerto Rican until I was 26.
See, all right. So, our dad's kind of like, my dad was a big Charles Bronson.
Oh, okay, yeah, Death Wish.
Death Wish.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. Like those are like the who is it? The Stallones.
Yeah.
So my dad's go-tos were Stallones,
always
Bronson, which is Death Wish.
Yeah.
He was I think he was Dirty Harry was Clint Eastwood.
Dirty Harry. Yeah. Good, bad, and ugly.
My dad wasn't. No, my dad never once talked about Bruce Lee, but now I'm wondering if he,
I don't know. Well, maybe because the Puerto Ricans liked karate and the Warriors. Like, my dad was from Gun Hill Road where the Warriors was filmed. You remember that movie, The Warriors?
The Warriors.
The Warriors. It was like, come out and play.
Oh, yes.
Warriors. And it was all like, they all fought on the D train and everybody was getting stabbed. My father's from that, era. So he loved that kind of stuff. But Stallone and Schwarzenegger, I mean, the first time I saw tits was like Terminator 1. And I'm like way too young to watch Terminator 1.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Did your parents get divorced or no?
Yeah. Okay. They got divorced. Yeah, they got divorced when I was about 18. And my father married another Italian woman, so my dad,
so
you know what I
he's
mean?
into
It's a West Side Story shit.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's his. He always went with the Maria.
Yeah, he liked her. He would make rice and beans, and we'd have chicken cutlets on the side.
Dude, you just made me think of something really funny. So my dad. And if anybody heard my act, like my dad definitely is a over-the-top Italian character. He's very, very, he's just so overly conservative. He's so fucking... But, dude, I remember my father took me to the movies. I'm like, you're going to love this because you probably... Well, you guys both remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Okay,
a little bit, yeah.
So Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a movie that was basically real actors next to cartoons.
Yeah.
And, dude, I wanted to go so bad.
Yeah.
And my dad is fucking... livid. He's watching it, right? And he's watching the actor, and then the fucking rabbit comes out, and my dad goes, this is not. What are we doing?
What are we fucking doing over here?
He goes, this is fuck. He goes, what, Paul? What are we? And I think he wanted to walk out and take us to Goodfellas. Goodfellas was 91, I believe. Mike, can we find out when Who Framed Roger Rabbit was? Dude, my dad was so livid.
We could have saw Ray Liotta over there. What are we doing?
Yeah, Goodfellas is 88?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is 88, Goodfellas is 90.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I remember my dad would take us to those movies. He took us to Untouchables. He took us to, and he still did my dad's version of a kid movie would be like Home Alone.
Yeah.
But he couldn't go to the animated shit.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. He's like, look,
we're not gonna watch Fantasia.
He's like, look, I can take. My dad's not watching Fantasia. My dad's gonna be like, look, I can take you to Home Alone. Pesci's in it.
Yeah. We can see Home Alone.
Listen, even though he's a good criminal, there's some some sort of Italian influence. All right, Pesci's in it. He wants to kill a kid. We'll go to see that. Yeah, I can't do the cartoons. But my dad, like looking back, my dad would take us to movies he selfishly wanted to see, but we were too young.
Yeah, and
So-
you couldn't. No one went to family court back then. It was all right. Like if you take your kid to see fucking I don't know fucking Deadpool or something, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paul, did your dad take you to Who Framed Roger Rabbit because he thought he's like, Who Framed Roger? It's a crime movie.
Yeah, no, dude, like that. I think that's kind of what it was, because he would like, okay, it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think I really wanted to go, and my brother wanted to go, and my dad kind of didn't know what it was, but he was like, let's see. But as soon as it got silly, and as soon as there was literally cartoon shit happening, he was literally. It ruined my experience, because he was literally looking at the screen, and go, this is fucking stupid.
Was he shaking his knee the whole
dude,
time?
like, this is fucking stupid. He would look at his watch, and like, I'm just a kid. He would look at his watch and go, what the fuck am I doing here? What
That's
are we
the fucking popcorn over. What are you doing?
So one time, me and my brother. So our visitation days, and my grandmother lived in Yonkers.
Oh, so your parents were divorced?
Oh, my parents were divorced when I was 5, and my older brother was 10.
Okay.
And the courts, unfortunately, in the 80s, the courts gave no time to the dad. And my dad was like, my dad didn't hit my mom. There was no like cheat, like they just didn't get along.
Yeah.
But it was an ugly fight.
But of course, because the whole court battle is. I've been through it. I've seen it. It's brutal.
So they gave my father only 8 hours on Sunday, and then we went to dinner with him on Wednesday nights.
Wow.
So from 5 to 8 on Wednesday, and from noon to 8 on Sunday.
Wow.
Right, and he was fucking upset about it.
Yeah, of course,
and it's like, and I get that, but when he wanted to see a movie he'd pick us up, and he'd go, I already got tickets. He goes, we're going to see Stallone's movie Cobra.
We're gonna go see Tango and Cash. All right,
And
shut up.
And I remember,
We're gonna go. You ever heard of Kurt Russell? Huh, you little bastards?
And then remember, like, Stallone did Over the Top?
Yeah.
Where it was a fucking arm wrestling movie?
Yeah.
And, like, the funniest shit was, like, he pulled up in a Mack truck, and he got out, they'd be in a bar, and they would just stare at each other and
everybody's
do that.
oily with fucking thin tank tops, and your father was like, this is a good fucking movie right here. Everybody was gay in the bar, but it was all right.
Yeah, the funniest shit is Stallone movies were always Stallone having to fight the big guy at the end, whether it was an arm wrestle, a boxing match, and then Stallone would win, and it was the greatest. It's the greatest.
It was greatest. There was nobody cared about the movie. There was no inclusiveness. It was just a happy Italian guy kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah, and that's why Eddie Murphy's bit in Raw is so
great.
It's so perfect, because it really did give. I know this sounds hilarious. It gave short Italian guys hope.
Yeah.
Because dude, Stallone is probably 5'9".
Rocco.
Can we find out how tall Sylvester Stallone? There's
pretty
no.
short.
Sly is definitely under 5'11".
Yeah, he's a short dude.
5'10", according to the internet.
Yeah, no, I think he's shorter than that.
Maybe
seems
with Tim's
way
on,
too-
he's
That's
5'10".
kind of like what they do with the NBA. They said Allen Iverson was 6'1". Dude, Allen Iverson was like literally barely 5'11". My buddy stood next to Allen Iverson at the Garden and said, "Dude, this guy is like he was like 5'10" and 3/4, and he was an absolute animal."
Well, now something's saying 5'8" to 5'11". So it's definitely 5'7".
I would call him. I would say 5'8", 5'9". But either way, when he stood next to Drago, and
Who could have killed him?
Dolph Lundgren was that much bigger, and you're like, anything's possible. So that's why Stallone is. And now I'm watching him in the Tulsa King. Are you watching this?
No. No, how is it?
Dude, listen, the acting is not.
See, you're still watching Stallone movies. That's how we know you're a dad.
Anything-
You're still watching Stallone. It's over. Stallone hasn't come out with anything good since Rocky.
Do me a
Like, it's
favor.
nothing else.
Start the Tulsa King.
I can't.
'Cause
I can't. There was a movie where he's like he's a janitor and he was a superhero. It came out on Amazon.
Samaritan. I saw it.
Was it good? You probably loved it because you're 40 and you loved it. Because like my uncles and my dad, they hit me. You gotta see a Samaritan, Mikey. I'm like, no, it's a piece of shit. It's so bad.
That's so funny, dude. It's so true. It's like you give me a tough guy, and I wanna, even when the acting's bad.
Yeah.
You know?
I liked Creed though. Did you like Creed?
I liked Creed.
I like any movie where a white guy and a black guy, they unite and it's like, it makes you feel good. I loved it. I love it. I love any movie like that. That's why Rocky was so good when
Dude,
Apollo
how funny
Creed.
is listening to an Italian, Puerto Rican guy go, I swear to God, when a white and a black get together and take on the world, that was the most millennial shit. I swear, anything's possible. When a black and a white get together, I swear like there's hope in the fucking world.
Make sure you support Ukraine, all right? No need for the Virzi effect.
I'm just waiting for the next thing. Get your dog spayed and neutered.
I just want to apologize for not asking you your pronouns before we started.
Sorry about that, here, Paulie. He's him or sir? Sorry, pal.
Oh shit.
Love it,
man.
love it,
So
man.
the cool thing is though, man, like you're a young guy coming up in the how long have you been doing stand up?
I mean, the first time I went on stage was 10 years ago. I
Okay.
was doing Caroline's. I signed up for a class. And it's weird. I started acting in college and improv sucked and whatever. But you learn some good things in improv. And then I took a class at Caroline's, and I thought I was the best. And I was doing bringer shows. I was in bringer hell for like a year.
Yeah, yeah.
I had no idea.
Dude, just bring 18 paid friends.
Yeah. Give us $300 for a class. Listen, every Tuesday, come to Caroline's. I'll let you write jokes in front of us, but you got to give us $400 cash in an envelope. And then on the last Sunday at 3 p.m., you can invite your whole family, and we'll make you close out the show. I closed out the show every time because it was all Italians and fucking Puerto Ricans from the Bronx. They would all come for me. I thought I was a god.
Oh, dude, I know. You get there and you realize, dude, everybody's here to see me.
I
It's
didn't
like
know,
you
but I didn't
begged
know
them.
anything about comedy.
That's so funny.
I was so dumb. And then I got a real spot at like 11 o'clock at Broadway Comedy Club in front of 40 people from Iceland, and I ate the biggest bag of dicks that you could ever imagine. And then it hit me, and I said, "Oh no, I got to work hard. This is crazy." I was like, "All right, this is not as easy as I think."
Well, here's something that a similarity that I see in you and myself, and it hurt me. But the fact that you just said what you just said makes me realize that you're in good shape, because I was and this is something that can't be taught, and you have it. And it could also be like a double-edged sword. I would go on stage young, and people liked me.
Yeah.
They just liked me.
Yeah,
They rooted for me. They liked me. They were like, oh, and that made me, at the very beginning, think it was easy because my material would get laughs, but it wasn't anything with substance.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Because you're just going
I'm
up
still
there.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going up there. Well, but the fact that you recognize it
Yeah.
and know, oh, I need to dig deeper.
Yeah.
But I would go on stage 2-3 years in, and people go, hey, man, everyone was laughing. But like, if I look at the jokes, it was simple jokes. It was funny. I was likable. I did a good job with the presentation. People go, oh, your presence, and people like you. But then that needs to, when that goes away, and you get through all that shit, it's like, well, what's the meat and potatoes of what I'm saying?
Yep.
And once that got honest and better, and I was doing real jokes, so I see the same thing in you, where it's like you're a guy instantly likable. You'll do impressions. You'll fuck with the crowd. You're like, I would hang with this kid.
Yeah.
Right? And people said that about me. But the fact that I got to write and dig deeper, that's the difference between somebody that just goes up there and like, this is fucking easy.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, it's not easy.
Yeah,
it's
no.
easy because you have a way about you. You might not be, because the people that are normally new,
Yeah.
get up there and they're like, oh, you could tell, man.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
tell. Like, you could tell just to, I asked Robbie Praw, who's now at Netflix, but he was the primary booker of Just for Laughs for 12 years. If you got to Just for Laughs, whether it was new faces or on a show, Robbie Praw, shout out to Robbie Praw, by the way, he was the one, him and Bruce Hills were the one that got you there. And I remember I was walking with him in Montreal, and I said, when somebody auditions for new faces, when do you know? So anybody listening to this, if you're a younger comic, I know some young comics listen to this, he goes, when do you know? And he goes, dude, we know like 30 seconds to a minute.
Jeez.
And here's what it happened. Because something as easy as taking the microphone out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You go up there, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Smith, Joe Smith. And all of a sudden that dude walks up, takes the thing out, puts the stand to the side, and goes right in confidently. Right there, the people are going, oh, shit. But it's the people that go up there that feel like, man, I don't belong here. And then they're in their head. Of course, that's going to affect it. I remember when my first couple auditions for Montreal, I was like, they were just like, yeah, he's not ready. And at first I'm like, no, I wasn't. I wasn't, because being ready doesn't necessarily mean one thing clicks. Being ready means the way you take the mic out and the way you put the fucking thing and the way you look at the crowd and just go into your first joke. That's everything. But you also have to have some substance there. So that's good that you know that, because you're the type of guy I've seen you, dude. And one reason why, and I want everybody to check this dude out, because one reason why is like the impressions. We were on,
we were doing Real Ass Podcast.
We were doing
with Lewis, and he had me doing different accents and stuff. We were at that time we were doing a bit where it was like world news, and so I was doing different accents or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think we were also just talking about stories. Maybe Sebastian came up or something, and I'm here doing Sebastian. I'm like, oh, if I got Paul here, I'm gonna do Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm gonna do the Italians.
I remember you were doing a Jamaican, you were doing an Italian, you were doing that, and I was just going like, oh shit, like that's.
Listen, my dream was to be on SNL, but it's ruined now because I've been working with Luis Gomez for the last. Like that was my dream as a kid. I would watch SNL on Channel E. I would watch it back to back, like and I was like, oh, I'm this is what I want to do, And then well, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Well,
I'm being hopeful. I've learned not to defeat myself yet, so I'm hopeful that maybe one day I'll audition for it.
And there's no like I think like don't be.
But I'm really not that talented. I'm really not. I think that I'm just. My whole life, people have like busted my balls. I was always like the young kid. I grew up in a Jamaican neighborhood. I had an Italian family, and I don't know. Like I like comedy, and I do what you said. Like I feel I just want people to have a good time. So that's why right now at the stand, I MC at a couple clubs, and it's awesome. I love it. And but that's like I'm still trying to figure out what am I? Like, what do I have to do? Like I think I'm finding my voice. Yeah. And then I watch my stuff, and I hear other comics. They go, oh, it's another guy. Who do you think you're, Nick DiPaolo? Like, what do you think you're, Italian kid on stage is doing? I'm like, there's no one who does that. So I take it, and I'm like, you know what? This is me. I have a good time. I have fun on stage.
Well, it's two things you said there that definitely struck something with me. Is one, it's very easy in this business because we're all insecure. Oh, everybody. Yeah. The biggest. You name the biggest comedian in the world today, and I know that they're insecure. Like, it's just what it is. Not an insecure in a bad way. Sometimes the insecurity could be a positive, where you're like, hey, man, I'm not as good as this, and I need to do this. Like, that's okay. But don't do it so much that you're like, fuck, maybe I am like the next Nick DiPaolo. Like, listening to what other people say is always like, because you're going to eventually ascend past them, and they're going to be talking about what the new guy's doing. Yeah. Oh, the new guy, he's like the new fucking this and that. And then that guy's he's like, those people, it's like, you're going to find your voice. You're going to find your voice. You're around 10 years or whatever. I didn't find my voice till about 10 and a half years when I was just like, I'm going to be, I remember somebody said, Louis C.K. said something where he said, when you can be the funny you off stage, on. And I felt like we're always going to be an exaggerated version of it. We said that before, but you're going to find that. But like, the one thing I learned is never listen to anybody in this fucking business because where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm learning too. Like, blinders, man, just tunnel vision.
Right. If Dave Chappelle or Bill Burr or Louis C.K. or somebody like that comes up, puts his arm around, hey, Mike, I think, just like, obviously you'll take that more. But when somebody that has not really accomplished anything is going, oh, you don't want to do this, and here's what you need to do. It's like, nah, dude. I'm gonna, and you just said you want to give the crowd a good time, have a good time doing it, fuck around. But listen, you could do voices, you can do that, and dude, SNL, you never know. Somebody go, oh,
I have a good solid 15. I'm gonna send it to that Rob guy if he's listening. You got to give me his email after the show. I'm gonna send him my type 5.
Wait,
whoever, Rob Shaw, whoever you said, you're gonna get an email from me, guy.
But don't talk yourself.
I'm gonna say Paul. He told me to send it.
But don't talk yourself out of a dream. That'd be funny. Like you get in front of Lauren Michaels. You're like, listen, I'm not that talented.
I'm not really that good.
Listen, I did a podcast. You're gonna hate. I shouldn't be here. Like you don't
like Stallone. Please tell me you like Stallone.
What'd you think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit? No. But no, Mike. How long you been doing stand up?
12 years.
Yeah. And Mike's open for me and stuff, and it's like you could watch somebody go up, but just be comfortable.
I'm having fun, man. Yeah.
You're having fun, right?
Yeah, I'm having fun, and I'm everything you're telling me is I'm like I'm happy to hear that because the insecurities and worrying about everybody else, it's always bothered me, and I'm learning to literally the last 2 years have been the best years comedy-wise for me because I've just said, you know what, I don't care. I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna have a good time.
That's all you can do.
That's it. And it's been a great 2 years, man. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of good things have happened.
Yeah, and just build on that.
Hell yeah.
You know, always look at like the good. Comics are so quick to be like, you know what, I don't fucking have, and it's like, yeah, well, a lot of it's never, I remember the one goal I had. This is fucking hilarious. Remember comedians did that best week ever?
Yeah.
On VH1,
Yeah,
and they were
yeah.
just a talking head. I thought that was like part of the getting high up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, if I could just fucking get my head on V. And now, like, if that was the only thing I did, I'd fucking want to jump off a building. Like,
yeah, you know, I did that 70s. So you remember the 70s? Yeah, I was on that at one point. I love the 70s. That's what it's called.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Listen, I'm not knocking any young comics that do that, but when you're coming up, you think like that's the, you know.
You look back and they were all comics. Like, I wasn't a comic when those shows came out, and I would watch it. And now I go back and I'm like, oh shit, Chris Stefano, Andrew Schultz. It was all those guys. You know?
You know what would be funny is if a guy loved that credit still.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're like 25 years in, they walk in a bar. They're like, dude, remember I hate the 90s? That was fucking me.
Dude, I did that by accident at the Stand. I introduced, I'll tell you her name off stage.
Okay.
Or off the show, but she's cool. I mean, I probably could say it. Well, anyways, I go, guys, you know, I'm looking her up. I'm trying to be professional. It's my first time meeting her.
Wait, hosting.
I'm hosting. I'm emceeing.
And you have to bring her up.
I got to bring her up.
Oh, boy.
And I've been at the Stand now for like maybe 4 or 5 months. I'm having a great time there. I love everybody there. They're giving me a lot of work.
You're like a young comic who's like, you're like studying on everybody.
I Google the person's name. The first thing pops up. I go, oh, yeah, cool. I'm like, awesome. Like, ladies and gentlemen, this girl's a beast. Give it up. You've seen her from Last Comic Standing. Give it up, papa. So she goes on stage. She does her thing. She gets off. She goes, listen, nobody knows that show, Last Comic. Nobody watches that show anymore. Talk about my podcast next time. I go, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry.
I know who it is already.
Yeah, I know who it is.
That's so...
I go, I'm so sorry. You know,
I
was like, yo,
she's a beast. She did JFL in '94, baby.
I might have seen her at the Aspen Comedy Festival.
That's so fucking.
Yo, you've seen her on Comics Unleashed. Give it up. Give it up for it. I'm just like, I don't know why I got all Bronx when I
dude, that is so funny. Oh, she's a fucking beast.
Yeah. Yo, this girl's a fucking beast.
That's so funny. No, but like that's cool to like be a new host at the best clubs.
Oh, it's so much
and you
fun.
get to like bring those people up and feel that.
Yeah.
I remember doing that, and the nice thing is the Stand is one of those clubs where like they're honest crowd.
Yeah.
You know, there's some crowds that are just layups.
Yeah.
But then there are some crowds where like I used to like. You ever host? This is the funniest thing, and I never got into this business as a host. So I remember when I was at the Stand, and they were like, "We know you're featuring on the road, and we know you stretch out and you have a lot of time. We want you to do regular spots here, but certain nights, would you want to host? Because we're trying to get guys that can headline to host sometimes." And I'm going, "Yeah." I remember doing it. And I remember, like, if they like didn't like me, I would always be afraid to go up again and bring somebody because I'm like, all they want me to do is be off. Like I was in my head so much that I'm like, that one joke minute 4 didn't work. They don't even want me in the building. So I would just get up and be like, oh yeah, your next guy. And
you don't even say anything.
And you just want it to be fucking over. But that makes you. Rich Voss said something where Rich goes, dude, the best hosts are the best headliners.
Wow.
And because I did learn a lot, especially crowd work wise. Yeah.
Well, you got to bite the bullet, right? I feel like you get the most experience. Yeah. Like the most like XP going up there right away. Like, all right, hey. Yeah. You know, none of you guys know me, but we're gonna make it work.
So when you're with your voices and impressions, would you practice them?
Yeah. Well, I would copy stuff. So I mean, like my father used to take me to see like R-rated movies. I saw Austin Powers and Fat Bastard, and I would go to my school and do Fat Bastard to the nuns and get detention.
Oh, that would be
yes. I'll just start talking Scottish. You'll be like, Michael, you did your homework. I go, oh, sorry, I didn't do my homework. It's too fat for me. I've got poop coming out my rear. The kids are cracking up. And I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm doing all Austin Powers stuff.
And you got detention.
Yeah. I told the nuns. I told one of the nuns. I said, do I make you horny? To one of the nuns. I was like, do I make you randy, baby? I had no idea what any of this meant. I was in 3rd grade, and I'm doing Austin Powers.
So you were fucking made for this shit. Like,
I was going nuts. I was going nuts. I was fat. I was popular.
So you're a generation before me. So my guy, me, and I feel like my generation and even a generation a little ahead of me was Eddie Murphy because of Raw and Delirious. Yeah. So who was yours?
But that was mine though.
Okay.
So the first I would stay up. My father worked night times and he would come home at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. He was a security guard at a hospital. He would put on HBO and it was Raw, Delirious, Richard Pryor. It was Robin Williams. So I'm watching all that stuff and copying that. I would do the whole Eddie Murphy. Plus Eddie Murphy talking about Italians. That was my uncles were those guys.
Yeah. yeah.
And the way they were talking at the movie theaters, the way they used to talk to my father, because my father was like the Puerto Rican guy.
Oh, okay.
But they were all friends though, so they would bust each other's
They
chops.
goofed on your dad, but
Yeah, so I would go to school and I'd be like, I don't want no hocking on my bread. You know, I should start doing Eddie Murphy shit. I'd be like, put a fire, Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie. You're going to put that's a fire. Like, I'll start doing that. And I'm like, there's like black kids in my class. And I'm doing Eddie Murphy voice. The teachers would go crazy.
and you were young.
I was young. I did that whole thing where he goes, pay for my fucking candy.
Yeah.
I would do that whole thing for the kids. And we would just go back and forth. And then, so the thing that when I started getting older, then the Chappelle Show came out, and that whole thing, it was just like all day long. I'm Rick James, bitch. I'm Rick James. We would just do that crazy. And so I always I don't know, I always made people laugh. And I always liked to do that. And also, my uncles had a lot of mental problems, and it was always stress with the women in my family preparing dinner. My uncle's like, "We're just fucking just taking forever." I would calm them down by making fun of them.
Wait a minute. Your Italian uncles,
My Italian uncles,
would have issues.
They
have mental issues.
They all have mental issues. Let's just.
So,
two
like-
of them are depressed. 3 of them are bipolar, and my grandmother always denied it. They needed help. So
Yes.
as I started to get older, I would
There's
see the
nothing
stress.
wrong with Richie. Well, Richie threw a guy off a building. No,
Nothing wrong.
He
No, it's
slipped.
okay. My uncle got sauce on his sweatpants one time,
Oh, boy.
and he took the whole fucking pasta and smashed it on the floor. He's crazy. I loved him as a kid. I still love him now. But as I got older, I was like, oh, now I see why my dad did like my uncles. They're crazy.
The funniest part about that is you said sweatpants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
Gray sweatpants.
not sauce or gravy on like nice suit pants.
No.
Or slacks.
Oh,
that
no,
you-
these are trashy. These are even trashier,
yeah,
Paulie.
like a couple of drops on the sweats.
Yeah.
And lost their shit.
Yeah. Rockaware sweats. I don't know if you remember
Oh
Rockaware.
my God, Rockaware.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is another level.
It's a whole other
Oh,
level.
this is,
Paul, I'm in the multiverse of Italian. It's a whole different thing.
Oh, this is a whole yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the county fair and get Zeppelis. Like they got Zeppelis,
Yeah.
but they showed up to the fair with sweatpants.
With sweatpants.
Okay.
Yeah, with Nikes,
Like
just, yeah.
dirty sneakers, sweatpants, or would
Yeah,
they wear the
you
nice
know,
sneakers?
they
Because
would wear-
Italians can't handle a bad shoe wear.
Here's the thing. This is the trashy level. I know you get nice Jordans, right?
Yeah.
Your shoe wear, they're top notch. Like
Yes.
you know the
It's
good
part
shit.
of my shit, yes.
Yeah. My uncle's always a fresh pair of sneakers, but they were so out of the loop. My uncle would buy like the Shacks.
Or the feel.
The Feelers. New Balances. Like I always had. The Jamaican kids would fucking roast me because I got wide feet. My uncles for Christmas, mate, these are fucking
Remember
New
the
Balances.
Starberries that were like fucking $13?
Big ass blue star, white sneaker, looks like Uptown.
And then he would be in a press conference going, "We just want them affordable." It's like, well, that's why they're affordable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to fucking wear them.
Oh yeah, my uncles sucked. They'd be like, look at me, be like, these are the fucking Starberries, these are the fucking, maybe a pair of Reeboks.
He's
These
on
are
the
good.
Knicks. They gotta be. He's in the
I got it
NBA.
from Jababa's up the block. My uncles would buy shit from the Avenue, which he knew it was bad. You got to go to a good store to buy good shit. It was So I was all fucked up for a while.
buying sneakers from those like shops.
Yeah, you
like
know what
that.
I mean.
Like where the shops weren't even a real shop. It was like
Yeah. if you buy sneakers at a place where they sell cigarettes, there's a problem. There's a problem there. So you know what I mean? So it was everything. So I was dealing with these mental cases, and my grandmother, who's my hero, who I love, the best person in my life. Well, my mother, I love my mother, my girl.
Your grandma's Italian, grandma?
Yes, and she would just thick-skinned woman, tough woman, but she loved her children and she loved her boys, and she didn't care if they were crazy, and they were all crazy. And she would every Sunday. My uncle got steak and fries every other day, and then if he didn't have it, he would go crazy. So when I started to notice the
I love
tension,
how it's all food that they're freaking out over.
it's all food.
If food took long, they would freak out.
Freak out, yeah. Anything stupid like that. If my uncle lost bets, he used to do numbers. If he lost, if the Cowboys lost, he was a big Dallas fan. There was always an issue. Stupid shit, like dumb things, and you would ruin a holiday over it. And as I started to realize it, I was like, I gotta suppress this guy. And I would just start like a baby, like giving him a rattle. I'd be like, hey, did you see the Giants game? Did you see this? Fucking, isn't that crazy? Did you see the Stallone movie? Did you just start doing voices, playing with him, making fun of him?
So you did it
and he would
almost.
calm down.
You almost did it out of fear of everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a way.
dude, we were just talking about that. Me and Norman were just talking about how so many things are based on fear.
Oh, yeah.
So you use used your skill and talent and things that you knew would make them kind of chill.
Yep.
Because you were worried that this guy, because of the fucking,
Ruined fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Dallas is running a cover 2 and fucking the Montegot's taking long. You're like, oh fuck, dude, they're running a cover 2, and she said that the water's not even on. Hey, come here.
Troy
Fucking
Aikman.
juju beast.
Troy Aikman does another play action. This is gonna be
dude,
a bad
that's
day.
so.
This is gonna be really
Oh my
bad.
God, dude! Christmas Eve's gonna be ruined, dude. He just threw 2 picks.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but that's out of fear because then
Out
all
of
of a sudden,
fear,
because
man.
then when they lose their mind, everybody shuts down and it's a big deal.
Dude, he bought me for Christmas one time,
so
and
funny.
I was always grateful. Like, I had like a PlayStation 2, and for Christmas, he was like, Mikey, I found this fucking game. I think it's good. It was Tomb Raider 1 for PlayStation, like the first PlayStation. I just acted. I was like, oh man, fucking Tomb Raider. Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Uncle. You know, because if I said something, it would just start an avalanche. It would
Yeah.
just start.
You know,
it
you
was
kids
crazy.
are spoiled.
You're
Yeah,
spoiled, you know,
yeah.
give me that fucking game.
Yeah.
Right? You get nothing for Christmas. And I'll just be like, I don't care.
Did they have kids? Did they have cousins? You have cousins?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I got a cousin. I love him with all my heart. He's a good kid, but he's went through a lot. His living with his father was not easy, and he somehow made. You know, he's got to take a little medicine every day, but he's made it out all right. But there's definitely a little
Yeah.
Zoloft.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's definitely a little Zoloft in the stocking on Christmas.
yeah.
But he's my boy, and it's cool, you know, and yeah. But yeah, he had kids.
That's amazing, man. Like that's
It's a crazy family, dude.
Yeah,
a little crazy. And I got to figure out a way to make an hour special. I got to sit down and really go, like, what am I doing? The answers are right in front of me.
Well, the thing
Let's
is, like,
fucking do it, man.
that the whole thing that you're doing with them and that you see with them is a special.
I gotta
Or
figure
it's-
it out.
Or a show.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
a show.
Yeah,
You know,
something, yeah.
because like when you see that, I mean, when Eddie Murphy did Raw and he talked about his drunk father,
the best.
and
So
he
good.
can't leave, it's like, dude, that put me in the kitchen. Like when he was writing on the refrigerator, it put me there. So like I see you in a living room, your uncle's in sweatpants and shitty sneakers, and the women are in the kitchen cooking, and they're getting impatient,
Yeah.
and you're trying to solve the problem by bringing some joy and making them calm down while the food's being cooked. Like that's nuts, dude. But that's like a legit. That's wild.
I got to figure it out, man.
And
but
nothing
it's
is
crazy.
funnier than, and that's a thing that you said too about your grandmother making excuses.
Yeah.
Everybody listening to this right now has or knows of a fucked up family member that people make excuses for.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like my mom told me, like, there were relatives in my family on the Greek side. My mother's Greek.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother's
So you're Greek and
my,
Italian.
My mother's 100% Greek. My father's 100% Sicilian.
Oh, amazing.
And the thing with Greeks is it's both are very pride.
Yeah.
So you don't want something wrong.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, I heard so and so's an alcoholic. No, he's not. No, he's drinking all the time. No, he's not. It's like, no, he's drinking. He fell down. He's drinking. No, his leg hurt. And
Yeah,
you're
right.
but it was all about the family can't look
course,
like that.
man, of course.
The family can't look like that, and we're gonna back up. There is something dope about that.
Of course.
Like, listen, I get going. No, there is a problem. You need help.
Yeah.
Because that helps fix the problem. But there is something about you don't know what they're going through. Let's just fucking try to.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't want to be in denial, but there is something nice to say, hey, my family's not that fucked up.
It makes you love, like, you appreciate family. It makes you go, wow, like, look at it. It makes you understand patience, you know, because you see what your grandma did and everything, and you're like, and then as you get older, you remember those things. You're like, fuck, wow, it took a lot of patience for her to do that. She was a really good person, or, you know, she or he or whoever. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think that, like, one thing that I've grown to learn, and having a strong wife, very strong, and my daughter who's, 10 going on 30, is women are really unbelievable when it comes to what you just said. Their patience of somebody that they love, letting that person come into their own and still being loving during it.
Yeah.
Where like, and this is not to say a dude won't do that, because like, I mean, with my son, but a dude will be like, come on, man, get your shit together. Let's, where a woman will be like, he's going to figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to, we're going to help him, and he's going to, and like just the love and patience.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's just, how do you figure it out, though? Because you need a little bit of that toughness, too.
But I think that's why when you said your relationship with your grandmother, and a lot of my father's relationship with his grandmother, he told me it was when she died, a piece of him died. My mother told me, she goes, when your father's grandmother died, like she took him in, took care of him. The love. I'm doing a joke about this, so I don't want to do it on the show because it's going to be in my new hour. But I can promise everybody this. The love that a grandparent has for the grandchild is a love that I think it's number one. I've never seen anything like it when my mother would hold my son.
Yeah.
And I looked at that.
Yeah.
And my mother said something really funny to me, and I don't want to say it because I'm doing it as a joke.
Yeah.
But dude, the love a grandparent has, because they kind of, when the parent tells the grandparent, no, you don't understand, he's messing up in school, the grandparent goes, but he's messing up in school because of this. Trust me, he's
course.
good. Have him come over the house. And the kid feels that, right? The kid feels that.
Yeah.
And that's the patience.
Oh, yeah.
Like the patience of like your grandmother probably, I'm sure, they were like, hey, he's doing fat bastard from Austin Powers at school. He's getting detention. And your grandma's going, no, but he's talented. Have him come over. Have him do this. And that's right.
You're nailing it.
Right. So they're telling your grandmother the shit you're doing wrong, and she's like, Mikey's a good boy.
Yeah,
He's talented. He's gonna come over and eat. You felt that energy, and you're going, that's my shit.
Yep.
And the patience, where a grandfather might be like, it's still good, but the grandfather could be like, Mikey, why don't you not do impressions to the nuns?
Yeah. My grandfather was like a real OG. He would be like, do Michael Jackson. He would just like start dancing.
That's fucking hilarious.
He would laugh. He would sit back and crack up.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot of my humor from him. But.
Cool relatives want the talent to do it.
Go ahead.
Like
do Michael Jackson.
I love, like,
Dude.
Joe Coy had that bit where he goes, dude, she would always make him, the mother would always make him do Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But then he was like 30 something.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, do Michael Jackson.
Yeah, of course. Still, 100%, man. 100%. It's like the grandparents have it's like a second chance. Like they see you and their grandkids. It's like they're understanding the wisdom. It's just like you appreciate that.
And I think mistakes they made, they kind of look at they look at it as like, I'm not going to do that with this one. It's almost like a makeup for some of the things that they might have fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I know what to, But I see the love, man. When I see the love of a grandparent with their grandchildren, I'm going, dude.
My grandpa used to go to Atlantic City back in the day where there was coins coming
Was that
out.
when they took the bus? Because my grandmother's, they from Yonkers, you could take the
you could take that bus.
cheap bus.
Yes,
But she would go with her girlfriends, and they would go down and come back. Yeah.
That was there, but I think my grandpa would drive my grandma, whatever, and they would take me, and my mom and dad would go, whatever, right? Everybody gambles. I still gamble right now. Anyway, so my grandma and my grandpa would take a hat. They've done it like 3 times. And they would put it like in the middle of the casino floor or like outside on the boardwalk and make me do Michael Jackson. And people would come by and give them info change. My parent, all the money they would give it to me, and I would save it. Like they didn't care. It was just they got a hoot out of it.
Dude, that'd be funny if they took it. No, that'd be funny if they took it.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe that's why I kept going to Atlantic City. Like, why the fuck am I here? The Jungle Cafe? Like, what the fuck am I here for?
That Wheel of Fortune machine just wiped me out. Mike, get out here.
Mikey, start doing Bruno Mars.
Tap dance. No, my grandson's gonna tap dance. We're gonna be back at the machines.
Do it. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fucking. They would really do that.
Yeah, I was 3 years old, man. I was such a baby.
Okay. Oh, you were a baby. Okay.
And they actually, if I remember the story correctly,
they're pimping out a 3-year-old.
It all started. The first time it started was my one person, because kids are not allowed on the floor, on the casino floor. So I think my grandma was just like chilling while my other relatives were playing, and Michael Jackson was on, and I just started dancing to it, and people started to form a line, and that's when they realized they were like, oh my god, like this is fucking hysterical. So then they would invite other relatives over and be like, watch this, and they'd be like, Mikey, go ahead, start. And then I'd start doing it, and people would form a crowd. A little kid's so stupid. Back when Atlantic City was nice.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, Atlantic City was like, if a grandparent in the Bronx or Yonkers, and that was their shit. That was their shit. They were like, we're going to wake up early, we're going to get down there, we're going to put, they would sit at the same, old people sit at the same slot machine for 3-4 hours. They put all their money in, and they sit there, and it's like the greatest day. And then
Tupperware filled with coins.
Yeah. But, your story reminds me of me so much, because when I would stay at my grandmother's house, my Yaya's Greek grandmother, in Yonkers, I would do Eddie Murphy for the neighbors, and they would go, Paulie, do the thing, and I would do Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, okay.
I would do lines. I remember one thing. Remember the cigarette truck? And he goes, the truck, it just stopped, man. It just stopped. And I would just run around and they would be like, I would just do lines from Eddie Murphy movies, 48 Hours, this and that. But it was almost like it gave me something because it gave them something. Now, are you an athlete at all or no?
I played football when I was young. Now this is a stepdad body. Like now I'm like, well. But when I was young, I played football. I played football for Mount St. Michael and then I got kicked out, and I played for Columbus, and I played varsity, and I was a linebacker. When I was really fat, I was a center. So I played football for my whole high school. All 4 years, I played football, and that was it. I sucked.
When I was fat, I was a center.
Yeah, when I was fat, I was a center. I was a center for like
Mike,
2 years.
stand in front of that guy.
Do a voice, distract him. I'm just like, hey man,
You're doing Michael Jackson in between snaps.
I'm like, you see the new Chappelle episode?
Yeah, you're doing fat bastard in between snaps. So let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer because we have similar paths here. Were you the kid that got in trouble but were respectful and nice to the elders?
They would call me a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because I would defend my friends.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, why are you here? Like, we know you're a good kid. Like, what are you doing?
My mom would go, he's so nice, but he stole. But, like, he's the nicest kid. He's acting out. And it was like, I was the kid that I would get in trouble. I would do things. Dude, we burned down a building. This is the dumbest thing we did. We did graffiti, because I used to do graffiti.
Yeah.
So I had a tag name and all that shit.
Yeah.
So me and my dumb friends,
God,
we
what was
go,
the tag
let's
name?
go to the, I had a couple of them. One was Amaze, one was Link. Right, I had all these fucking tag names. Yeah, I know.
Zelda Link? Like Link having to do with Zelda or nothing to do with Zelda?
No.
Just Link.
L-I-N,
Okay.
yeah.
Like a chain link.
Like a chain link, right? And I
Trying
would
to figure out if he's a nerd or not.
And I would do.
He's not. He's like, we fucking Zelda? What are you talking about? It's like, Zelda, what?
No, it wasn't.
Princess Zelda?
No, it wasn't.
No, Link, like Cuban Link, motherfucker.
Yeah, no. It was Link. It was. I had the word amaze written in graffiti across my whole wall over my bed in school. So we would just, and we had like the books, and we would just do it and stuff. So one day we're like, dude, let's go to the deli. Let's go. This is, and dude, I could have fucking really killed this. This is the dumbest thing. Like, let's go to the deli and get lighter fluid. Oh, no. So we got lighter fluid and matches. We went to an abandoned building, and we took our spray cans and we started doing it. And then we just fucking took. So then we go to the park, and later on, we see in the distance smoke and fire trucks going. And I'm at my friend's house, and my mother phone rings, and somebody goes, "Your mother's on the phone," and she doesn't seem happy.
Like, fucking, your heart must have been out of your
And I'm like
chest.
at a dinner table with my friends, and my mother goes, "You fucking put people's life. You and your stupid friends. Where you burnt down a building. Get home, and I was just, and we thought, I'm not even thinking. And then people like, but he's the nicest, most respectful kid. And I had this weird thing where I would act out. Oh, Paul got in the liquor cabinet at 12 years old at my house, and I got to tell you that. But one thing that I always remember, dude, and I won't get emotional now, but I could get emotional because my older brother had my back to the point where my older brother would call up a parent and go, "Yeah, I know my little brother got into the liquor cabinet. Yeah. He's a good kid. Stop talking shit." Like my older brother was like that, and we're still like this to this day. But it was like because I was a good kid, and I get the sense from you, but act out, stealing, doing shit, and it's almost like to be cool or to be a rebel. But at the end of the day, like I'm not thinking that if that fucking building, if we light the building, I'm not thinking that there's a firefighter that actually has a job. I'm not
just being stupid a little bit. Yeah, there's no bad bone in your body.
Yo, let's go throw rocks at cars. You ever do that shit?
Yeah.
Like throw rocks at cars.
Yeah, I used to throw water balloons off the roof and hit people, random people.
Yeah. Somebody, they're going 80.
Hey, maybe you're a little worse than me. You throw rocks at people. But still, I get it. Yeah.
Like, it reminded me. Remember Tommy Boy?
Oh, God.
Remember Tommy Boy when he goes, he goes, what else can we do? He goes, I don't know, throw stuff off a bridge. but you do shit and you're a good kid.
Yeah, you're just being stupid.
You're just being stupid. But I think that it comes to what we do today, where it's like my doing stand up then or using was throwing rocks at cars in a weird way. Because why do it? And I didn't have guidance, and I didn't have my a stable family. I mean, listen, my mom and stepfather did the best they can. My dad was visiting very seldom, and I know he wishes we could have done more.
I think you turned out all right.
But
you're a good father. You're successful.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm lucky. I remember, what really freaked me out one time? I went upstate. My brother was working at a restaurant, and I parked the car. I'm in the parking lot, and I see a woman that I used to know back then, and she just goes, "Hey, I see things are going good for you," and she just said something that sticks with me this day. She goes, "Yeah," she goes, "we were all worried there for a while." And that hit me because it was like, we know you're a good kid, and we know, but you were doing stuff that could have really detrimented your life. You could have got arrested. You could have you were doing this stupid, reckless drinking and stuff. And now to see you successful and doing things and living your dream. But when she said, we were worried there for a while, it kind of, I'm not going to say it made me feel stupid, but it made me feel, I guess, grateful, lucky, but also a little ashamed of some of the things that I did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because how many chances are you going to get until you do the one really bad thing? If you would have killed somebody in that fire, you would not have been here. It would have been a whole different guy.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they keep giving you the benefit of the doubt because they know you're a good person. But
Yeah.
at the same time, how long are they going to do that until they
Yeah.
realize, wait a second, we can't keep doing this. Like we
Right.
need to do something, you know. But that never happened, which is great.
Well, it makes me think of guys like me and you that went to jail for 10 years because they were with a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, you know, hey, let's steal a car. And then all of a sudden you're like, but I'm not driving it, right? And then this fucking kid who just turned 17 is in the back seat of a car that's stolen.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the cops, and then the driver tries to swerve at the cop. Guess what now? Now, not only are you, now you're trying to endanger a cop. Guess what? Everybody's doing
over.
time. You're a felon. You're by association, and you were a good kid. It's wild.
I
man.
mean, I have you ever been arrested? Have you ever?
Yeah, I've been arrested, I think, 3 or 4 times. Dumb shit, though.
Oh, okay.
Public urination.
Did you ever
I
have
got
to
naked
stay
in a-
overnight at a place?
No, I got naked in an emergency. I got
Naked?
yeah, dude. I got naked in an emergency when I was hammered, and I
Yeah.
tried dancing
Oh.
with the nurse naked and shit. I'm doing a story, and that's gonna be in the next special, I think.
It's harmless.
Yeah, yeah.
It's harmless.
um,
Now they put you in a psych ward.
But my buddy went to one of my closest friends in high school went to Oneonta.
Okay.
And I went there, and we were going party to party at Oneonta. You know, it's one of the SUNY schools up there, right?
Okay.
And I was like, let's go to this party. I heard so-and-so's there. He's like, yeah. And I went in between two cars, and I pissed, and a cop pulled up. And a cop just goes, I was like, nah, it's not me. He's like, oh, no, it's not you. How about I put your fucking face that they arrest me? They put me in a holding cell, and they go, dude, it's almost 2 a.m. They go, if you don't have somebody to come and bail you out in the next hour, you got to stay. Yeah. So I called my buddy, and my buddy was drinking too. He stopped drinking and started drinking waters, and he was running. This is a good friend. He's running around the block trying to sober up.
That's a
kid
good
was
friend.
running around jogging.
Wow.
And he went there, and they saw that he was fine, and I got bailed out of that. But dumb shit, like never.
Yeah.
I never did anything. But I went to high school with a couple guys that went into a bank, and with either water guns or a note, and got arrested. Could do years. Like could you imagine that shit? Like just do, like you go in, you're like, hey man, I'm just gonna go give the fucking teller a note and say, put all the money in a bag and this and that. No gun. You do that, bro, and they hit a button and the cops come. You're light. You could be a good kid.
Yeah.
And do the dumbest thing because you got talked into it.
Did the
That's
cops like you? When you were in the car with the cops,
when I got
did they realize this fucking
when I
kid?
got a DWI, the guy goes, man, you were so cool. I'm gonna drive you home. We normally don't do that.
Yeah.
And while he's fingering me, fingering me, while he's I was getting prints and a finger in my ass. It was a different type of arrest. No,
The good old days. Stallone fingers in the ass.
listen, I'm gonna finger your ass,
Rocks.
but if I can finger your ass, I'll drive you home.
Yeah.
No, he's doing fingerprints, and he's going, oh, so you're starting comedy, huh? I got to come to a show. Like I swear to God, like I was just telling Norman that I was always the dude that was like, your son doesn't belong with that group.
Oh my God.
I had a kid-
we got too much in common, man.
I had a kid pull up, and he's like, my mother was like, you can't hang with this kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean he's a good kid? And like one day he showed up, he's like, oh boy, look what I got. And he put his shirt, he had a gun.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He had a gun, like, and he was like a good friend.
Yeah.
He was like, oh boy, look what I got. And I'm going like, and you know what? Rest his soul. That friend is not with us anymore. But I remember one time I was in. You ever go in a situation and you know while you're there you shouldn't be there?
Oh, yeah.
It was like in a Bronx Tale when they were going with the thing.
Yeah.
I was in a car, not to go do a crime, but my buddy just got a Camaro, and I'm in the back seat, and he had another kid in the front seat. And he's like, let's see what this thing could do. Yeah. And we're going around windy turns, dude. When I tell you I wanted out, I'm going, we can be killed.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just speeding. It was reckless, turning and everything. And I'm just back there going like, and now, dude, I could start crying thinking, if that's my son, if my son or daughter are in that car and some fucking asshole who's doing that can kill my children, it's really like, now that I'm a parent and I see, it's like, gee, I'm not trying to, I'm fucking depressing people with this,
but you're reminding me of shit where you're like, how did I get out of this? And thank God. I had a buddy, same thing. When I used to work at the Yonkers Raceway, he was like a real good kid and whatever, and he was wealthy, and he had a fucking beautiful Charger, and he was brand new fucking Charger this dude got, and we were at his house, and we were like playing Call of Duty and smoking pot and drinking, and I go, well, I'm gonna get a cab home. He goes, no, I'll drive you. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll drive you. He gets in his car, he puts on some fucking crazy heavy metal. Like, I didn't even know. It was like, this is my first time going to this guy's house as a party, and we ended up staying a little late, whatever. And he's going like 110 miles per hour from Yonkers to Woodlawn in the Bronx on the fucking highway, going bananas. And I'm in my head like, he's gonna crash and I'm dead. Like that's all it takes. We're both drunk, you know. You were saying something. I asked you about the cops because I got arrested. I got arrested and I got into this big brawl and I hit a kid with a lacrosse stick and I gave him 7 staples in the head. Okay, this was this giant brawl. I thought my friend got like
How old were you?
I was a freshman in high school. So what is that?
So you're like 14.
I was hanging out with the wrong kids, but I was just I wanted to be cool.
When you whacked the kid, you wanted to be a tough guy.
Well, I was defending my friend. I thought we were going to this park where there were kids from other schools, and it was just like stupid, like, oh, you go to St. Raymond's and you go to this school, and a guy got beat up, and everyone was, and a dude was like,
when
hey,
you're a jet, you're a jet.
Always a jet. You see here. Come over here.
What are you sharks doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Get out of my neighborhood. So this guy rallied up a bunch of dudes. We went to this park. We end up hanging out with like the girls from like I don't know, like St. Barnabas, some sister school, whatever. And everybody leaves, and we're like, oh, this was pointless, right? We're having a good time. And then the kid shows up who fought the other kid, and he's talking shit, whatever. And then all of a sudden, my friend, who was not a good guy, and my mother would kind of like warn me about him.
Yeah.
He's your guy with the gun. He fucking clocks this dude, starts fighting, whatever. The guy pulls out a knife, and I see my friend about to get stabbed. I was on a lacrosse team. I can't play lacrosse. What the fuck am I doing? It was like mid-season
so
after
fucking funny.
After football, we did lacrosse just to like stay in
Mikey,
shape.
you know what you should do? Join the lacrosse team.
I had no
You're
idea
a center.
Dude, literally, I was a fat kid with a long pole like this. I couldn't even juggle a tennis ball with the lacrosse stick. It was so bad. I got this stupid stick. I'm talking to some Irish girls. I think I'm the man, right? Whatever. My friend is about to get stabbed. I hit this kid with the lacrosse stick. We run away, right? Whatever. The next day, the fucking cops come to my school because all the girls that I was talking to, they were able to pick me out of a yearbook. The cops come to my school, and they ask for me. They send me home. They call my father. They go, do you want us to come to the house? Yeah. Or are you going to drive him to the PAL or whatever? It was like whatever. Yeah. And my father was like, no, I'll drive him. Dude, this kid I hit him so hard. I hit him and it went back, and I was like, well, I must not have hit him hard. And I hit him again. He got 7 staples in his head. He was bleeding out. Thank God the people came, the EMT came at the right time. They saved him, whatever. He was fine. I was in Woodfield Holding Center for like 3 nights. It was so stupid. The cops loved me. Like on the ride, I was telling them, whatever. 3 days go past. I got to go in front of the judge. The cops look at me. They go, listen. They go, you need to start crying right now. I go, what do you mean? He goes, start crying. I go, I'm not gonna fucking cry. Like, I'm not a pussy. I'm walking to the main court. I'm seeing the guys in the jail, right? I'm seeing the guys and they're looking at me like, fat boy, you're gonna be like me. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Wow.
I go, doors open. I see the judge. I see my parents, and I start bawling, dude. And I was not gonna cry. I start bawling.
Oh wow!
We had a lawyer, whatever, the public defender, and he was like, "This kid's an honor student. He goes to this good school. He was in a stupid brawl. Blah 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 blah." The judge got me out, and it was and that was the last bad thing I did. Before that, I stole and did all this shit. That was what hit me. And I'm just saying it's similar because I understand that feeling with the cops, like being cool with the cops and dodging a bullet. Like you got lucky.
You get lucky, man. And
Sorry for that story.
No, I love that story. That's a fucking fantastic story. Thank you for sharing the story on the show. And I think that things like that make you realize, and I've always said this, I feel something looks out for you, and there's something, there's something, because there's too many things that have happened. It's just how I feel. Some people could roll their eyes, but I know what I feel. I know what I believe in. Yeah. And something, God, whatever you want to say, but there's something where when you're in a situation and you're like, I got out of that, dude, and that could have been, I love how you're like, they were the girls that I was talking to could point me out. It's like, there's an Italian Puerto Rican holding a lacrosse stick. I don't think that was the easiest.
I was the only kid with gel in my hair.
Dude, a blind guy could have sketched that. Like, he wasn't even there. You're like, wait, what was it? No, he was Italian, half Puerto Rican. He had an extra long lacrosse stick. Hold on, I could draw him. That's so great.
He was wearing New Balances. he had a 14W New Balance. He's the only kid wearing wide shoes.
That's so great. No, dude,
So
this
dumb.
it's great, man, and I think somebody like you with all those stories and your talent, I think you're gonna all you're gonna do is ascend in the business.
I hope. Thanks, man.
And
I appreciate you,
yeah, I hope any fans of the Virzi Effect, man, this seems like a younger version of me. So if you're a fan of me, check this guy out. And where can they where can they check any dates? I know you do a lot of New York City, and that you're at the
Yeah.
stand a lot. So if you guys come to New York City and you want to see some lineups, he's hosting a lot there now. He's doing spots there, and any other upcoming stuff.
Check out the website. When you go to the stand, just click my name. You'll see the dates. On YouTube, Young Guns. Check out the podcast with me and Robbie Goodwin. It's been taken off. And Instagram at Comic Mike Figs. Follow and yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, follow this dude. And guys, I want to thank you guys so much again for the support here in the studio. Shout out to Mike Albanese making this happen. All Things Comedy, Andrew Themeles. We're gonna have some clips of all these shows, and keep writing reviews. And, getting the Virzi Effect anywhere you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, rate and review, because that makes the show move up, which it's been doing, and I'm grateful for that. Guys, if you're in Toronto, I'm bringing a brand new hour that I'm very, very happy with. I'm going to be at the Royal Theatre in Toronto, January 28th, on February 2nd and 3rd. Which is a Thursday and Friday. I'll be at Gotham. I don't know about Saturday yet. They have something going, but hey, let's sell out the Thursday and Friday, which is February 2nd and 3rd. What is it? Valentine's Day. Me and Joe Bartnick. I'm headlining in Pittsburgh. I'll be at the Improv. Bring your dates. Come out. It's Valentine's Day. We're going to have a great time like I always do in Pittsburgh. And so many other dates coming up. We got Tampa. We got Denver. We got Utah. We have, what do we have? We have Providence, Rhode Island. We have Austin, Texas at the Vulcan. So many dates. Go to paulvirzi.com. Keep checking out the special and send the special to people. Nocturnal Admissions on Netflix. Be here next week. I hope you guys have a safe, happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, the whole fucking deal.
Kwanzaa, everybody.
And everybody. Whoever,
Everybody.
Can I say that? Did I miss something?
Yeah, no, you probably did by now.
Somebody's going to be, hey, what about this?
You canceled already.
What about that one group that celebrates this? Whatever you celebrate, man, have a good time. Drink responsibly. Talk to you later.